Hello, we are live.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to FunkyBrims Live tonight, Thursday the 16th.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Chris from FunkyBrims. Introduce our guests in just a second, but
I'm going to go share everything.
All right. We are FunkyBrims. We are located in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, right outside of Tulsa. And you can find us at funkybrims.com. There's a QR code that ought to be in one corner or another, depending on how your screen's laid out. Or there's also the link that's posted in the first comment there. And that is the wrong code. Can you make Funky 15? Actually, can you just get rid of that and go in and put it in there, the right one?
Which one? Are you talking about the comment?
Yeah, the comment there. You can hide that and repost it or something like that. But anyway, We'll get going here. So we'll switch it over here and introduce our guests as well. So sorry about that. Hey, Johnny Chuckles was just in our store. And I don't know how you made it back so quick, but hey, how are you? Matt, Christy, hey, everybody. And so we're going to go through the caps tonight for the La Basilica drop. And but more importantly, we got some guests here. So we got Colin and Jenna from Hales in one screen there, and Matt, who is the artist from Hales, technically a Hales employee, but pretty much are. And we'll kind of go through his history and everything here in just a little bit. But we do have a code tonight, which is going to be BRIMS15, BRIMS15. Give you 15% off everything except the Boston Scally and the collabs. And we will also be doing a giveaway tonight, two of them actually. So we'll do one around 7:30 or something like that Central Time, and one when we get ready to stop. Winners tonight, every comment you put in there will be an entry into the drawing, and we'll do a mystery box in your hat size for the two winners there. And so we'll get going here. So the drop tonight is at 8 o'clock. Which is just a little less than an hour from now, and we'll end this 10 or 15 minutes early so everybody has time to get ready for that drop. And I know Colin and Jenna have stuff to do, and we have stuff to do right leading up to the minute of that drop. So we will do that. And yeah, we'll kind of get started here. I'll throw it to Colin and Jenna for a second and let you guys introduce yourself, and then you can introduce Matt and talk about his role in your history, and then we'll get into it a little bit.
Hey guys, it's great to be back on. Thank you, Chris and Sarah, for asking us to join you tonight. And then
thanks everybody for getting on, by the way.
Absolutely, and to grab Matt to join us tonight is such a huge blessing, and you guys are going to get to learn a little bit about how much we work with Matt. Sometimes it's a weekly basis, sometimes it's a daily basis, sometimes it's an hourly basis. You never know how many times we're going to call Matt in a single day. And we're so grateful that he could join us tonight. And he's not even in America, so we'll learn a little bit more about that in a second as well. So I got Colin here tonight. Nathan is at home chilling. The heat is pretty brutal in Texas, and his hot rod shop does not have any air conditioning. No. So he is done for the day, chilling at home, just trying to recoup.
Hey guys, so I wanted to invite Matt on tonight, mainly this one in particular, because I believe, and Matt, you can jump in, but the La Basilica artwork was one that, we had an idea for. It featured an actual motorcycle. You guys have seen in the video. It's a buddy of ours, Braulio, or he goes by B. It's a motorcycle that's been around in the Dallas area for a while. So, Matt, to capture all the details and everything, this is one that whenever we came up with the idea for the artwork, I knew it was going to be many, many hours spent on this one. But another thing that really we wanted to talk about is Matt and I here lately with him really starting everything with pencil on paper and doing all the artwork by hand, and and even whenever he does it within Adobe, it's still done essentially by hand. That was one of them where we've seen a lot of other companies using AI prompted artwork here lately, and we pride ourselves on still doing all the artwork by hand and being creative and all the many hours and back and forth, and let's change this and let's detail that, and corrections and all that. But Matt, I'd like you to start off by kind of from the beginning. What led you into getting into doing this for a living, and tell us a little about the school. Whenever you told me a long time ago, I thought that was a phenomenal story with the school.
I'm going to interrupt real quick to answer some questions real quick. I'm in a new one. Colin's in a new one.
Yes.
Matt is in the Butcher. He is in the Butcher. That's one of his favorites. We always have, he gets a drop early if he wants it, as much as he works for us. And the Butcher was one of his that he had asked for a year ago. So just know the Butcher is the Butcher on Matt. Yes, I'm in a new one. I'm not telling you when or where or anything good. And Colin is in a new one as well. All right, Matt.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the perks of being on the inside circle is getting the early drop and being able to say, yeah, I want that one. And have it.
But I think by the time you say you want one early and we send it out, you're really not getting it early.
Not usually, yeah.
All the way up in Canada, y'all. He's all the way north of us.
Yeah, so I'm just outside of Toronto. So usually when you guys send something, it takes about a week and a half, 2 weeks to actually get to me. So sometimes it's early, sometimes it's the week of. It totally depends. But yeah, just so to circle back to your question, yeah, I don't remember a time where I wasn't drawing. I tried to think about that earlier today and thought, I've always had a pencil in my hand. I've always been drawing. If you look through if I still had my notebooks from high school, just filled with sketches and doodles and a few notes about the actual course I was taking. So yeah, I always kind of knew that I wanted to be in this field of being a creative and drawing. Initially, I thought it was going to be in animation. There's a school locally here, about 2 hours away, hour and a half away. That's really well known for that, Sheridan College. And that back in the day, that was a college that Disney used to just snatch up grads right away, or Warner Brothers or whoever. They basically would put on like a film festival and then just hire people right there. So I thought, yep, that's what I want to do. I want to do that. So that's the path I kind of aimed at. I did a 1-year kind of general arts program where they taught everything: drawing, painting. I did metal sculpture, for fun. Stuff like that. And then I applied to get into the animation program and another program called illustration, and I didn't get into either. So I was like, okay,
No way.
I guess that's it. And I took a year off and just worked. And when it came time to apply again, I thought, okay, I'm not really interested in animation anymore. The thought of drawing the same thing over and over again sounded really horrible, especially sitting in a cubicle. I'm like, no, that's not for me. They said, okay, well, I'm going to apply to this illustration program that's more like editorial and magazine work and stuff like that. And that's the only thing I'm going to apply to. And if I don't get into that, I'm going to go military route. I'm going to join the Army and go that route. Got word back that, yeah, I got in. So like, okay, we'll go that route. And it's actually a kind of in retrospect, it's a wild thing because within the first few months of that program, one of my teachers, and all the profs were, existing professionals in the field. And he looked at the class and said, "You guys want to know the numbers?" Like, what do you mean? He's like, well, for your program that you're in now, we had 40,000 applicants. So, okay. Then they signed out the portfolio requirements. And he said, then we got about 4,000 back. And from that 4,000, we accepted 140. He's like, so good job. Like, okay, cool.
Well done.
Yeah, and the program is really, really good. They pushed you really, really hard. By the end of 3 years, that 140 was down to about 40. People just drop them like flies. And they push you hard to make sure that it's something that you really wanted to do and something that you're willing to put in the effort and are dedicated to. So that was the school part of it. After school, life, I got married, had kids. And when my second kid was born, I had the opportunity to take a paid leave for about 8 months. And I said, yes, sign me in. I'll do that.
That's amazing.
So not full paid. It was 55% of my pay, but I got to just stay home and be a dad.
Dang.
And during that time, my wife said, you've been doing this, you're doing the art thing part-time for a while. Now's your chance just to dive in full bore and go for it. I was like, yeah, as scary as that is, let's do it. So then fast forward about 8 months and I walked into my old employer and handed in my resignation with a smile and said, see ya. And that was kind of the start of it.
When was that? When did you walk in and like, when did you start this full time?
Full time. If you count when I was on leave, that would have been about 15 years ago. Okay. Officially, It was like early 2012, somewhere around, or mid 2012. So about 14 years ago.
So Colin, when
Yeah,
did
that's
you?
really cool.
What year was that?
What was it, Matt? About 5 years ago now?
For the first one?
Yeah.
First one would have been the OG flannel, whenever that was.
Yeah.
So I think that's
Yeah.
20.
You've been with them since the beginning. I did. That's what was going to be one of my questions.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
We had another artist prior to Matt who was a friend of mine, and you know, he was a good artist, really good on the technical side whenever it came to doing like the tech packs, you know, the blueprints for the flannels and the shakas and all that stuff. He was really good at doing that. Art wise, he didn't do it full time. So some of the times, you know, for a t-shirt design, it would take, you know, a month and a half. I mean, it was quite a long time. And
I want to interrupt. Before Colin hired him, Colin was the artist.
Mm-hmm.
So Colin was the first artist. Then we had the other guy who was phenomenal, just not his full-time job.
Yeah.
Then we found Matt.
I don't hardly like to claim my art because that's, as Matt's seen, it's funny whenever I started all this and I was hand drawing everything, I would do it and I'm like, oh my God, that's awesome. And then, you know, now I see Matt's artwork and I'm just like, oh my God, I look like I was drawing stick figures.
Well, it's funny looking back. It's funny looking back at the first conversation we had on the phone, and I was taking notes and stuff, and you had said something I had heard from many people before of, oh, you know, this could lead to a lot more. And I took notes. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. I've heard that before.
Yeah.
And then we finished that drawing, and I thought, well, maybe that was a one and done. Maybe I'll hear from him 2-3 times a year. Little did I know what it would turn into.
Yeah, now it's every month, multiple times a month,
Yes.
and all that good
And
stuff.
here lately,
Yeah.
it's been weekly.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Here
yeah.
lately, it's been weekly.
If I don't hear from you in a couple days, I get worried.
Exactly.
That's funny.
But yeah, no, I think, what was it, that OG, you came on and did that one. And yeah, I mean, really on that one, you just kind of knocked our socks off. It was exactly, I remember calling you on that one and I said, hey, here's the direction. Remember Ren and Stimpy, where they did the gross ups, remember they called them the gross ups on Ren and Stimpy, where, you know, the cartoon was just kind of whatever it was. And then you'd have these close ups where you could see like, you know, the pimples on their face and the flies and the bloodshot eyes. And I said, I want to do like a gross up of the OG, the 36 Ford with the gorilla in it. And I sort of just tossed you the idea and I was like, let's just see what he comes back with. And I mean, you know, you came back and I immediately was like, oh my God, like, yeah, that's it. You nailed it. Like we're let's roll.
Yeah, and I look back at that one now and think, oh, that could be way better.
That's still one of my favorites.
Yeah,
still one of my favorites.
So I have a fun little story. So some of you that have been to our shop, you know that in the install where Colin started and then I started with him, we have a ton of banners in that shop. And one day we were able to send Matt a video of his banners. It's all his art. Every single piece is his art. I can't remember your exact words, but I remember you were just like, that's all my stuff. You know, this is all over at that time, probably 3 years worth of artwork. And it was just all made.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we see it as years. You look at it as hours.
Yeah. A lot of hours. How many hours do you think you had in tonight's drop, in the
Basilica
drop?
Yeah.
Oh man, that one was on the higher end for sure. Just the full detail of the paint, and like every inch of chrome is engraved, and I spent more time thinking about that one ahead of time of how am I going to pull this off. And then usually, like for a car or a bike or whatever, I can usually handle that in a good day, a good solid day. That one was 2, just for the paint alone. It was a lot, and figuring out how to handle all the stained glass, airbrushing stuff, and it was a lot. By the time I was done the bike, I was glad to be done it. My hand hurt. And I was ready to do the background, and it's one of those ones I look at and go, yeah, I put in the hours on that one. I can be proud of that one.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
The hang tag on this one is phenomenal.
Yeah,
So.
and that's on the hang tag. We've been playing with different sort of finishes and whatnot, and that's one of the new finishes they did not too long ago. That's an actual chrome finish, which I thought, man, for this artwork, that's a
great sticker
to go with. Yeah.
Let's take just a second. Let me show the collab caps that are going to be for tonight. I'm going to make this a little bigger so you guys can see them. So we got 4 caps tonight. First one is the Patchwork Newsboy, which is the one I am wearing. This one's going to be $84. You can take a look at it. Kind of go through these fabrics real quick. The front of this is a really nice, just, one of these sort of Italian fabrics that we're able to get a hold of and match up with this. And so that's going to be kind of a little bit of beige in the background, but it's got some texture to it. Do have a flat cap in it, and it's that material is going to be 52% cotton, 48% linen. So it's going to be very lightweight for summer. Just a really, really cool little sort of geometric shape there. We've got the panel of the flannel there. We got the blue herringbone, and then we got this blue stripe in the back, which comes back to the brim as well. Again, thin liners, of course. Got our artwork in the top of it there, which also is drawn by Matt. Off of that, after we'll go through that process a little bit, maybe in a little bit of kind of how we bounce things back and forth and all that kind of stuff. But this is the Patchwork Newsboy. You can see the pin there again. More Matt's artwork there. That's the motorcycle, some circles around it. That will come with 3 of the 4 caps. We'll explain that here in just a minute. But that is the Patchwork Newsboy, $84. We also have this what I call the Deco Weave flat cap. So it's that same material we were just talking about, the linen cotton, the brim there, flat cap. So Deco cotton, Deco Weave flat cap, cotton and linen. That's $82. It'll come with the same pin you saw just a moment ago. And I was going to get going here and don't show the side profile that everyone wants to see, but that is the same sort of pattern we've had. The flannel flat cap, I think, came out really nice. This is one of those that pretty much anything you'd wear blue jeans with, you could throw this cap on with it as well. So it's just the flannel on top and has this blue herringbone on the bottom. That'll come with the same, all 3 of those will come with this pin right here. Then we have a 4th cap, which we're going to call the Summer Blue Tommy. You remember we did these sort of Tommy Shelby herringbone ones in the winter in several colors, and this one is kind of a light blue. And this one we're going to throw in the disco Shelby pin that we did after the Shelby code dropped that never really ended up going with anything. And why are we doing a different one on that? Because this hat was kind of a late addition to the whole party, and we didn't order enough pins to go with all of them, and so we didn't want to run out. So we found the best pen that we could that we knew would have enough of them, and that's Disco Shelby is a really cool one. Works really well with this Tommy. Kind of has the same Peaky Blinders theme to it, and so that is the one that will come with the blue herringbone. Have a very small number of those pens available separate tonight as well. So that's the 4 pens tonight. We'll probably take a quick look at those again right at the end, but now we'll kind of throw it back and talk a little bit more about sort of the process. And we may do this a second time. I think we could spend quite a bit of time just talking about the Shaka process. But this isn't a Shaka drop, but we can we can kind of go through that. But I think it's interesting, same kind of thing. Matt, maybe just a short overview of like the shirt that Colin's got on. I mean, all that was hand drawn by you as well. And I think between the two of you, kind of talk a little bit about how that pattern doesn't repeat. I mean, it's how you kind of lay it out where it works perfectly.
That whenever we started doing the Shakas, I remember calling Matt and I was literally going,
this idea.
So we want to do these like Hawaiian style shirts, but the manufacturer wouldn't really tell us any sort of direction with them. So Matt and I had to put our heads together and pretty much invent how to do the artwork on these so that it was seamless. The manufacturer was like, well, just send us the pictures and we'll tile them on the shirt. And I was like, no, that's not how we're going to do things. And so Matt and I talked about how to do it, which I won't get into the specifics of how to do it. But, that first one that you did, that was literally us going, I don't know if we're doing this right or wrong. A lot of times you'll find in this industry, they pretend like everything's a big secret. They don't give you any parameters. They don't tell you how thick the bleed needs to be. There's so many things that they don't tell you. If they know what a bleed is. And so, honestly, whenever it came to doing the Shakas, Matt and I came up with a way to do it, and we did it. and then we sent it off, and I was like, either the sample's going to show up completely screwed, and we're going to have to go back to the drawing board, or it's going to be right. And then the sample showed up, and we were kind of like, oh, okay, well, that's how you do that.
What was the first one? I don't even remember right now.
It was the tribute.
The tribute.
So it was the one that was blue with all the labels.
The tribute.
Oh,
Which that was the
22.
thing with the tribute. We were very adamant on with it having so many logos tiled on it. We didn't want it to all of a sudden just be this line in the middle, So it was, how do you get this pattern to just be a seamless tubular pattern on this entire shirt, whether you're a small or whether you're a 5X, And we kind of figured it out, and we've done it the same way since then. I don't think we've really changed how we do it, other than just sort of, trying to challenge ourselves on the art. But yeah. So I just want to ask real quick, whether it's a shaka design, whether it's a flannel design, I call you with some pretty crazy ideas sometimes. Has there ever been one that I've called you and I'm like, I got this idea, and you're just like, what the shit?
What, Colin? What are you doing now?
That usually is some sort of a shaka design. I mean, you guys, the two of you know, I'm not a big Hawaiian shirt shaka guy. For me, this is really bright. Usually I'm black or like charcoal gray, pretty stereotypical artist style. So usually the shakas are the ones I go, what? Okay, hold on. And then it's like, okay, what are we doing here? And then I have to think about it for a bit, and then it's like, okay, I think I know kind of the direction we're going at. Those have been the hardest ones for me. The ones that are strictly a pattern, like the Cheyenne, it's a lot easier for me to wrap my head around. But the ones that are like kind of all over the place, those are the harder ones for sure. Mainly because most of the time I think, okay, let me try to make something that I would actually wear. And that's the challenge. And to do something that makes sense, that I could see the Hales customer actually wanting, and it's not cheesy. It's not like those really bad shirts you see at like swap meets and stuff that have like flames and wolves and stuff. Like, let's not do that. Let's do something that actually looks decent.
Yep. I love that answer, because I always know when we get our plaid in, I'm like, okay, Matt's going to want this one. Matt's not going to want this one. Because you are, my husband is that way. And really Colin can be that way too. He'll wear some bright colors, but just that very typical day-to-day basis is that hot rod guy, and Matt, you are a hot rod guy. You're sitting by yours right now. And I love that he has that aspect of our business. He understands that culture of a motorcycle or a hot rod guy. You don't have to be a motorcycle or a hot rod guy, but so much of what we love is that culture.
Yeah. And Colin has what he calls the t-shirt test when we're designing something is, okay, yes, that may look great as a banner or a print, but would you want that on a shirt?
Yep.
And
there's a lot of times we talk through some artwork and I go, man, I really had a hard time coming up with the direction on this one, because, the direction that would kind of be the easiest way to go might look like a good scenic canvas that is hung over your fireplace or over your couch in your living room. But, your average hot rod, Harley, any of our customers, right? Would they want that scene on a t-shirt? And the answer is no. So how do we do it in a t-shirt,
I think I want to, Chris had said something before we jumped on with you all, and this was definitely one of those conversations. So Chris, what were you saying was one of your favorite pieces of art?
The Pier 21. That t-shirt art, that banner art. I love the boats and the ocean and all that kind of stuff. So that one just I just like that one, and that kind of old school feel to it.
So Matt, how did you come up with that one? Because that was definitely, I remember y'all's conversation of how do we make this cool for a t-shirt?
that one as well. That's what I was telling Chris. I said, we won't say it before, so I'll wait until we do the live, so it's the first time you hear it. But whenever Matt and I were talking about that one, he's got a special connection to the boats and everything. So we pretty much on that one just gave him full direction.
Yeah, so for that one, I mean, the cedar strip boat, the wood boats, from where I am, that is a huge deal. Just north of us in what we call cottage country. That is like the classic vibe that everybody wants to go after. And those boats are rare. And when you see one on a lake cruising around, it grabs your attention. And when I was about 11, maybe 10, my dad actually bought a cedar strip boat and restored it. And that was the first restoration that we had happen in our garage. And he had that boat for years and years, years, even into when he transitioned into doing cars and stuff. So when Colin said, "Hey, I want to have these like wood boats and cedar strip boats kind of chill on the dock," I thought, I'm going to sneak my dad's boat in there. Whether he likes it or not, it's going in there. So one of the boats in there, it's kind of near the back. It has an outboard on it. The outboard, if I remember, is a 57 Johnson Golden Javelin. That's a really cool looking engine. It has fins on it and stuff. But yeah, I snuck his boat in there, and then it was a fun phone call. Like, "Hey, Dad, check out the details on this one." He's like, "Hey, look at that."
That's really cool.
It was really cool.
I just thought that was so cool. That was one of your favorites, Chris, and there was so much meaning for Matt.
Yeah, no, that one's
So Matt,
that's really cool.
we all.
But I'm just going to throw in every once in a while tonight some of the other new hats that we're showing. So I just decided to put it on. So real quick, this one is called the Grayscale Newsboy by FunkyBrims. This one's going to be $58. The code will work on it for 15% off. So that's going to be, another $8 to $9 off on that. And so, you'll be looking at a little bit less than $50. All of the prices we quoted from FunkyBrims or that you see is shipping included. So about $50 shipping included. This one is FunkyBrims. This one's made in Portugal. This one's super thin. It's very similar to the mesh ones we did last summer, the tan mesh, the red mesh, but that is a new one tonight out there, Grayscale Newsboy by FunkyBrims. So jump back in.
Love it. I love it, Chris. We wouldn't all be here together if it wasn't for your cats.
Yes.
So we want you to
I appreciate it. This has been, it also kind of hit me that we've gone past a year, right? The Butcher was the first one of the collabs last year.
Okay,
so and that was
perfect.
obviously dropped in June for
I mean,
July.
I knew that. Yeah.
I love it. So I'll ask that question. Between the three of you, this is not really a piece I'm ever a part of, but Colin and Matt will have done the art on a piece of flannel, a design, and then they call Chris. And then they talk through all of Chris's pieces. So how does that work, guys?
I mean, normally it starts where, I'll, design the plaid. And then from the plaid with the theme, I call Matt and I go, "Hey, I got this idea." Matt comes back and impresses us 110% of the time. And then once we're impressed, I shoot everything over to Chris. And then Chris gets back to me with, what he wants to do for the pin. And, he does his hats and everything. He does that himself. I will take no credit for putting together the hats. He does all that. But yeah, after I call Matt, Matt, we can get into the next step. I call you going, "Hey, here's this flannel that we're going to do next. Here's the pattern, the colors, here's the theme. Where do you go?"
What, after you call me?
Yeah.
Yeah, usually I give it a day to let the idea kind of bounce around in my head for a bit. Usually a good night's sleep, and then the next morning, usually I just jump right into it. Because of the conversation that we have ahead of time, usually it's pretty clear the direction I want to go. There has been a few odd times where we said, "Here's the plaid and go." I don't really know what to do. But usually there's a direction to it. And then usually the next morning, bright and early, I like to start early. Usually I'm at my desk by like 8:15 my time. So I'm just like working at it, and I just kind of start on it. Usually I don't want to say how long it takes because I've worked really hard to get quick. But usually it's a few days of working it out. I usually start with the main merch idea first, get that sorted out, and from that becomes the tag idea. And then we take that tag idea, shoot over to Chris, and then he kind of says what he's thinking, and then we modify what we have to makes what he can use. So it's basically exactly what happened today. We finished off 2 flannel ideas that'll be released 2027. Shot it over Chris, and he's like, "Yeah, that's cool. Let's do this." And I said, "Okay." So tomorrow morning I'll have something for him to look at for, the tag design on the inside of the hat that works for him, and a pin design. And I gotta say, those pin designs have been really impressive. There's been many times I thought, there's no way he can print that on that small scale. There's no way. And then I see it and I go, oh, all right. I was wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, our pin maker, who also makes our woven labels, ships them to Italy, all that kind of stuff, and makes our stickers as well. That's, find somebody that does a good job on all that is like, you can find someone that's a little cheaper for sure. And then, the sequential numbering and be able to do all that on the back. That was huge. I think finding the right,
yeah, absolutely.
Finding the right one. Couple of questions we saw there. Flannel flat, $74. By the way, saw that question. So I posted it a couple of times, and so that's out there. And so yeah, I see a couple of people. The Grayscale Newsboy, she's adding that, getting that where it'll be working here in just a minute with the code.
Yep, working on the codes. I'm sure Sarah's working behind the scenes getting all that fixed.
She is.
I saw a question that I'm going to go ahead and just rip the Band-Aid off. These snaps have been quite the drama this week. And we simply wanted to do something different. It was that simple.
These snaps were honestly a part of the development whenever we started doing the images in the snaps. I went to the manufacturer and pretty much said, I've had the idea to put the images in the snaps for quite some time now. It's kind of weird. These manufacturers, whenever you're small scale, they don't really want to do anything for you. So for the longest time, whenever I said, hey, I got this idea, I was just told, no, we're not going to do it. But as you grow as a company and you get bigger and you stay with them for a while, it's kind of funny. They'll start trying to do things for you. And so, we've done for forever. And it was literally, I just got to the point where I was like, our customers like snaps, and that's perfectly fine. We've learned that. The last time we did a button flannel, not the blue collar, but the last time we did a button flannel, we actually got a 1-star Google review that I cannot get removed because an individual said they love the flannel, but they're going to give it a 1-star Google review because it had buttons and not snaps, where they don't understand that truly does hurt a small business.
Oh my gosh.
It comes to a Google review and I cannot get it removed. Which is kind of funny that they say they love the flannel in a 1-star review.
Yep.
But regardless, we just wanted to mix things up. That was all it was. Whenever it came to the images in the snaps, like the Katrina doing the rose in there. And once again, they didn't give us instructions on that. Matt and I literally said, I have this idea. I want to do this. They said, send us a tech pack. And I called Matt and I said, I want to do this.
Here you go.
They want a tech pack. And he was like, of what? What are we doing? But the same thing with the open ring snaps, or the donut snaps, as some people call them. I literally was like, man, I want to do something different. What out there is different? They said, here's some options, and the donut snap was one. And I said, I have this monochromatic, La Basilica, the blue flannel that's coming. And I said, is there any way we could do those open ring snaps in the same brighter blue, and then do Hell's Legendary flannels in the lighter blue? And they said, well, we've never done it, but we could try. So once again, I'm on the phone with Matt going, hey man, they need a tech pack for this. And he's like, all right, here we go again.
Here we go again.
But it was literally us just trying to mix it up. That was all it was. And in this field, whenever we're creating flannels, and Matt can tell you, and Chris can tell you, whenever you do the creative thing, every once in a while you get a wild hair and you just go, man, I just want to try something. I want to mix it up. It's kind of, we did the Katrina with the rose snaps. I was literally nervous whenever we were dropping that one, and getting close to drop. I was like, oh my God, they're either going to love it, they're going to hate it. We have no clue. Everybody loved it. So I was like, okay, well, I hope they have the same reaction on the Basilica. We have had so many negative comments and so much hate and so many
personal
DMs to myself and Jenna, just trash talking the snaps and everything. I mean, they literally take it personally whenever we put an open ring snap over a pearl snap on a flannel. And all we were doing was just trying to be creative and change it up and give people something new, something different.
And the whole motorcycle theme. For us, it made sense. You know, it felt like it was part of the theme of the motorcycle, and to keep all the blues. There's 4 blues in this beautiful plaid that Colin designed. Because I don't know if people realize that these are not staple patterns. This comes from Colin's head, goes to Matt, becomes this whole computer generated piece, and then goes to our manufacturer to become a piece of fabric that we get to see this big of to decide if we're going to make this shirt.
Yeah,
And
all these patterns
it's
are
such a process.
one-off. All these patterns are one-off. I'm not going to name names, but other companies are just literally picking patterns out of a catalog and picking colors. It's not the same deal. And it's that extra level of care that I really appreciate. And again, the donut snaps, like personally, I like them. There's my 2 cents, but I know they've been controversial. But,
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
But you know what?
I saw a picture of a future cool snap earlier today, and I'd say keep it up because that one blew me away when I saw it. So there's some fun stuff coming. So keep the creativity on the snaps going. People will appreciate it.
Yep. And we even had a customer walk in today. She got her flannel. She is a local gal that she comes and gets his medium and her small at every drop. And she's like, Colin, that's what makes an artist an artist. And Matt, maybe you can talk about that piece, is always trying to change something, always trying to make something a little bit different.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even the pieces that we finished up today, there is one where I tried something different with the text, and I was like, I don't know if this will work. So I sent it away, and Colin right away is like, yeah, I like that. I'm like, all right, cool, let's roll with it.
Yeah,
and that's part of the fun with it of this whole thing is working with you guys who have a creative mind, so I can say, hey, how about this? Or we go through a brief, and I think, well, you know what? Why don't we try something different and do this? And and most of the time, it's received really well, and that is such a rarity for someone in my position to have a client that is so willing to take risks and is so willing to say, hey, just run with it. That is such
Love it,
a
Chris.
blessing.
Good job.
Yeah. So somebody wanted to see it, so I'm trying to get it in here. You can see the snap, and there is words. It says, Hale's Legendary Flannels is written actually twice. It really looks nice in person, I think. So,
and if you don't like it, change it.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Let me go real quick with a couple of other ones, and I think we're going to do 2 winners tonight. We're just going to pick them both at the end because we've been talking right through everything. So there's still going to be 2 winners here. We did get a shipment today from Mucros, which is in Ireland, as most of you probably already know, the cat people. This one sold out really quick. I don't know, in the last month or so. So Patchwork Newsboy from Mucros restocked today out there. Those of you who missed it last time were able to get some more, and that one's out there. Real quick on the Mucros front, we've had this blue one for a while, also restocked. New one today. This is kind of a lighter gray, so same sort of driving cap shape, all that kind of stuff you're used to. So this is going to be some Irish tweed, kind of a Donegal tweed. It's got these little flecks through it or whatever, so it's kind of a gray herringbone with the flecks through it. So that's a gray in the Mucros. We have the normal green one here, and we have a darker green, kind of olive green herringbone. And we have 2 more new ones real quick. We have a royal blue, which is going to be this one right here. And it does have, it's going to be kind of a herringbone pattern through it with some lines and that sort of stuff. Let's see if we can make this just a little bit bigger where you can see it. There we go. So the lines that are through it. And then we have just a solid black one as well. So everybody needs a black option. So that is the solid black. And got a couple of new women's ones in today as well. That we'll just show those next week. Unless you just want to show the one you got on your head right now, real quick.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
We'll just do the women's.
I hate to bother you. Just go right ahead.
Sarah, I think your container showed up. You got some amazing.
If you take a look through the live and you look at the Mucros and the women's, there's the flapper cap shape and the newsboy shape, and there's some new ones under both of those. And we can we'll show the new ones next week, or you can see them online there as well. And so real quick, I'm going to show the collabs again, and then we're going to kind of talk it out for the rest of the time and end. And again, this drop happens at 8 o'clock, which is about 8 o'clock Central Time, which is about 20 minutes from now. So Patchwork Newsboy, $84. Comes with this pin right there that Matt drew. And that one is one. We have the Deco Weave, sort of Art Deco looking woven fabric there. Nice Italian cotton linen blend there. That one is going to be $82 in a flat cap shape. We have the flannel flat for $74. And again, all three of those will come with the Lava Silica pin. And then we also added kind of a little bit later this blue summer Tommy. It's going to be a super thin linen material with a little bit of cotton in it, so it doesn't wrinkle as bad as a pure linen would. But just a great summer weight cap in that sort of Tommy shape that we've done. I don't know, probably 5 times now with different colors and fabrics and all of that. So somebody asked if it had dots. I'll kind of get in real close there. So yeah, it's really squares, and so you have blue squares inside of light cream squares inside of sort of a darker, tan background there, and so really pretty. I think it looks great with the shirt as well. So that's the 4 caps for tonight. And again, of course, all the normal stuff that goes with it, t-shirts, banners, all that kind of stuff that Matt was responsible for that we've been talking about, and so that's all of those. And so let's kind of get back into it. And I'd love to have you on again and talk. Like I said, I think we can find the right one for a Shaka sort of discussion as well, because I think that's a fun process as well. On those, having had a little bit of creative input on the front end on the Villa Margarita, kind of saw how that worked, and it ended up blowing my mind. And then the little things like throwing those, one salt shaker on there, right? If you had a pattern that just repeated across, you can't do something like that, but having one salt shaker on the front, one on the back is the nice things you can do when you do the art the way you guys have done it. Somebody asked real quick, the Tommy is $80. So there we go. Anything else you want to share or ask or anything like that? Or
I did want to ask Matt what his favorite art was to date. He's done so many. You got to give me one, or at least top 3. At least top 3.
You told me earlier you're going to ask that, and I don't know, because I have favorite parts of each one.
So what's the favorite?
So if you were to ask me like what my favorite embroidered tag is, I would probably say I have a soft spot for the Hard Knock 2, because that was the first one that we really pushed it. And that was the first one where I thought, man, I don't know if the embroiderer can pull this off. And it came back and it looked killer. And it still to this day is one of my favorite ones. Every time I look at it, I go, oh man, that's a good tag. And for me, that's a rarity, because usually after I look at something for long enough, I think, okay, that's trash. Let's move on. And that's just in general with all my art. For merch art, I think the Basilica is up there just because of the hours and the. I kind of look at it like I beat it. I figured it out.
Yeah, absolutely. I win.
Yeah, I won. I gotcha. The Everall is kind of on the other side of that. It's super clean and simple, but the patina on it was a challenge, and I think it turned out really well. And just
the Everall was one. Remember that I had that idea where I was like, we need to do the custom truck. And a lot of people didn't realize it, but the reflection of the truck is the stock version of the truck. Huh. And that was one that really, I think, was challenging to get that mirror just right, but the truck's not laid out on the other side. And,
super subtle. Super
subtle.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's so fun for me. So me as the person that's not really involved in this art process, once we get the banner for that drop in person and we're looking at it, yes, I can see it on the computer, I can see it on the phone, blah, blah, blah. But when I see the banner, I can appreciate all the small details you added to it. Every single piece that this guy's got this tattoo, there's this kind of whiskey in it because, you know, we like whiskey
Yeah.
in Texas, you know, and there's all these small things on the banner that you can just appreciate so much.
Yeah.
Don't you sometimes, or did I imagine this conversation that sometimes, you know, you do the artwork and it's, you know, you hadn't printed the, you know, banners or t-shirts or anything like that yet, and you do some, you know, future artwork and you're like, wow, that's actually kind of cool. And, you know, one of those tattoos on the forearm turns out to be kind of a foreshadowing. You've taken some elements of one nobody's ever seen before, but there's usually some kind of meaning behind almost everything in every one of those pictures. And I think that's fascinating.
Oh yeah,
I think-
usually a tattoo is a past Hales design or one that's coming. Well, I don't remember which one it was. I think it might have been the Rosie the Riveter one. I actually snuck my own tattoos in there. I'm pretty sure I snuck the eagle on her arm. You know, just little fun stuff like that is always fun to kind of just toss in there and see if anybody notices. And I know Colin's gotten feedback of, you know, how people really enjoy that and really enjoy digging into the design. And that's just fun for me.
Yeah.
And so it keeps it, we get to keep you on your toes.
Matt and I always used to say that Matt and I play a little game. He tries to see if he can sneak something in there that I don't see. And there's been a couple of times where, like, I'll look over the art and I'm sitting there going, yeah, I don't see what he snuck in. And then we get the banner, the big vinyl banner, and I'm like, that little sucker, look at that right there. He snuck that in there.
We'll literally, that shipment, those are actually made in America. And so when they come in, Colin and I lay them all out and we take a minute, we take a deep breath and we're like, oh, wow. Okay. Look at what he did today. Like, look at what this man just created for our business. And, you know, our customers are going to love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'd love to do this again. I've had several people ask if I'd run through the caps one more time, and then we're going to pick some winners and we're going to get off because we've got to go get ready for this drop. If everybody, because I mean, as much as you'd like to hear more, if you're sitting there at 8:05 and the drop hasn't gone live yet, you guys are not going to be happy with that at all either. So here we go. The one I'm wearing right now, Deco Weave Flat Cap, 52% cotton, 48% linen, $82. We have the flannel flat, $74, and the patchwork newsboy for $84. And then we have the summer blue Tommy for $80. And again, that one will come with the Disco Shelby pin. And Sarah is going to pick the winners here in just a minute.
While she's picking the winners, may I answer another question?
Please do. You don't even have to ask.
There was a few questions about a woman's shaka for next year, and we're definitely considering it. The cruisers for women this year were a brand new product for us, and you guys have blown us away with the love for them. So that makes me and Colin want to consider the shakas for next year. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but it's a big maybe that we're definitely talking about.
We have been, just so everybody knows in this little foreshadowing here, we have been, and Matt can tell you as well, fully focused on a future garment that we're hoping to release this winter. It has been about 1.5 years in the making.
Yeah, it's been wild.
But it's one of those that, you know, a lot of times we don't move on to another product development until one is done. That's like the blue collar shirts. I mean, the blue collar shirts, we spent 2 years researching material, researching, you know, all the aspects of that shirt, doing samples. No, that's not right. Let's remake samples before we launched them to the public. The women's cruisers were the same. I mean, we literally, we researched a lot of things. We had tailors involved. And then after those were done and good,
and y'all are liking them,
you
which,
know,
that
they
helps
hadn't
us.
even come out yet. We just went, okay, these are good. I called Matt and I was like, oh, next project. And, you know, that was fun putting that tech pack together, literally on the phone with you with a tape measure in the middle of a store with people walking around me. That's a story for another time.
Real quick here, if we do need to jump off. Cap of the week this week. Normally $50 down to $40. The Endure blue, brown, black, and Bricktown red right there. And so that is the cap of the week this week. And our winners tonight, Gino Loeda, sorry if I mispronounced the last name, and Charles Wright the Senior. Charles Wright Senior.
Hey, he's a local guy to us.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Hey.
So
Awesome.
congratulations, Charles and Gino. Email us to info@funkybrims.com and let us know what size you want in those mystery boxes. And again, Mukro should be working on the code now. And so again, congratulations, Gino, Charles. Thank you, Colin, Jen, and Matt for being on tonight. Drops in 10 minutes. You should probably jump off and get everything ready.
Maybe we can do a part 2 here in a couple of weeks with Matt, because we didn't have a chance to go over his thoughts on AI, and there was a few more questions. So if he's down, maybe we could do a part 2, and maybe we could start before that part 2. Maybe we could start a comments chat in the group and see if there's some questions that maybe people have for Matt.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, for sure.
That we can address during that as well.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a great idea. In 2 weeks, we'll be in Vegas, so we'll be loving having some other people to help us talk while we're not in our normal place. We'll be down at Market.
Why we're not our normal what?
Normal place.
Our normal ability to function.
Right.
Yes.
So,
And just a big
all right,
thank you
everybody.
to all of us.
Thank you. Good luck on the drop here in just a little bit. And thank you. I mean, that's the other thing, is just thank you for everybody that supports both of these businesses and all of our employees and helpers and contractors and everyone else that benefits from that as well. We appreciate it. And so, yeah, we're going to drop off now. And good night, everybody. And appreciate it. And we'll see everybody again. And we'll be back for FunkyBrims Live next Thursday night. And then everybody we'll get this party back together in 2 weeks.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Bye. Bye.
Hi, everybody.